Preek, thanks.
Perique, yeah.
I need a second cup of coffee this morning, so I appreciate it. I think the daylight savings just got to me. I keep waking up at like 3 in the morning versus 4 something. So Sam, I'm going to go to you first, and then I'm going to go to Ben, unless you want to go later. You want to go first or later?
Well, however you want to go, I'm good.
I'll go for you first, and then I'll go Ben, and then Bakes will round out at the end with you. Is that good? All right.
Sure.
Don't all chime in. All right.
Sam, how do you go from Texas Instruments to doing what you're doing now?
So I was doing way back in 2000, I took 35 grand to 5 million while I was at Texas Instruments. So then I got heavy, and I got whacked in 2001 when World Trade Center got hit, right? And, it takes a couple years to make your money back. You make it back and then you quit and you start doing this and just trading from home all the time by myself, and created a Twitter and started putting some trades out there and got a ton of people really fast. And I started a service, 2,000 a person. I said I'm only allowing 20 people, and got 20 people in like an hour. So, so then slowly brought it down and added a chat room and added a morning call and did this other stuff, and and up to 2,000 people now. So pretty big.
Good for you. Good for you.
So it's
all
a good business.
Or other stuff?
I mean, what I do is different than everybody else. I do it off of premiums. Everybody does it off charts or numbers or whatever, right? Mine is based on premium base, so a little bit different. So gives us different information, right? So
as usual, I'm the dumbest guy in the room, so I'm just going to sit here and watch the Ben Bry Bloomberg Rorschach test and listen to him talk about premiums, and we'll see how this goes.
The premiums is a tell. Nobody has done that. I've been trying to code it up, and if we can get it coded up, we spent millions of dollars so far. Then that's a game changer. That's $1 billion business. I mean, you're talking a $10 billion business run rate if we can get it coded up, because everybody would want it.
But if everybody wants it, then it loses its value.
Yeah.
That's the problem with markets. If you find it on edge, then the edge goes away.
Yeah, but the difference is it becomes like a chart, right? I mean, everybody, Fidelity and everybody pays for charts, right? I mean, every single brokerage pays for charts or makes them available. So the premium, even though maybe the edge goes away, everybody would want to know where it should be, right? So it's still there. Now the benefactors may be different, right? So
Sure.
But I mean, you just do the math. Fidelity has 70 million users. If you just charge them $1 a month or even $1 a year, that's $70 million. Then you go to Thinkorswim, you go to Schwab, you go to everywhere. All of a sudden, you're at $1 billion just in the U.S. Take the same software, port it to every brokerage in the world, and you're at 10 to 20 billion run rate, right? And that's at $1 a month. I mean $1 a year, not even $1 a month. So it's huge. But this whole AI thing makes it even better. It makes it easier, right? So interesting.
So what about Bitcoin? You think Bitcoin look like it's a little toppy here?
It looks like it, but I would have thought it would have hit 93 again today. But we bought some MicroStrategy. It's so overvalued, right? They're already up, I don't know, 30 cents. So, but if it pops back up, MicroStrategy yesterday, it unlinked from Bitcoin. If you've seen it, that and Bitcoin kept going up and they went down, right? So it was different. Right. The first time it was different, and different. In trading daily options, you're looking for different. When things are different, it has opportunity to move one way or the other.
Sounds good. Oh, we're starting now. It is Thursday, November 14th. We have such a treat for you today. Hopefully you caught Sam over at Smarter Trading 411 for his early show, which is my time, about 5:15, 5:20 in the morning. East Coast, that'd be, call it 8:20 in the morning. He's here with us today. We're going to be going over some options and technicals. We also have Ben Bry and Kevin Bakes Baker. So lots of chart, lots of technicals. And I will say, Ben and I launched this week our pre-market show, which is after 6 o'clock West Coast time, 9 o'clock East Coast time for Longbow. And it's our pre-market talking about whatever we see that is actionable, or is nothing is really that much actionable. Like yesterday, warning you, 2 days ago, do something. Yesterday, hey, hold pat a little bit. And then today, Ben's going to come here and talk a little bit about a few things that we noted on that show. So welcome, Sam. Sam, so good to have you on and introduce you to our subscribers. Thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks.
So what do you got this morning? What are you seeing? And maybe first go a little bit through what you do, like your special sauce that you give to people. And then what are you seeing this morning?
Okay, so what I do, guys, is we do daily options, we do weekly options. We don't believe in a word called day trading. What you do is you buy and sell stuff. You buy it, and if it moves that day, you sell it. I really consider it day trading. We don't get out. We buy and hold. We expect zero. We're not giving risk over time. If you expect, let's say you have $5,000 and you're doing trades and you do a $200 trade. Let's say you buy on. If it goes to 50 cents, you say down 50 cents, but you're barely down between the spread, right? So you can't really trade it that way. So what we do is we do trades. We expect zero, make a lot of money. Our people aren't looking to take 5,000 to 7,000. They're looking to take 5, 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000. It's a different thing. We have kind of clients. We have clients have millions and millions of dollars, but they don't always buy options. They're saying, Sam's buying options on MicroStrategy. That means the stock has to go up, right? So, do it lots of different ways. I mean, things that I read that doesn't make sense from the people perspective, a lot of traders, is they say, oh, he does options. But a stock has to go up if you're doing options, or it has to go down. So that means he's expecting movement. And movement is what drives the market, right? The secret sauce is in the premiums. So there's different ways to do stuff. You can look at charts. You can look at numbers. You can look at earnings, news. We use the premium tells you what things are going to do. So here's an example. MicroStrategy, 240, and $50 out of the money are $1. Okay, $50 out of the money are $1. The following week, $50 out of the money are $7. $7. So why are they $7? It start.
Oh, did we lose him? Gotta get him back. There you go.
So it's starting to move. So people are paying more, and all of a sudden that $7 goes to 50. So they knew a movement was coming one way or the other. Now, what I do is I'm very good at news. I'm very good at doing stuff fast. We can tell you why it's driving it up or why it's driving it down. And then you decide how you want to trade it, right?
Sure.
But we're telling you variations and these premiums. Look at coin. Coin 350s yesterday when it was running up, the 350s for next week went to $15 out of the money. And historically, that wouldn't have even been $3, but taking all the premium out, so like he almost thinks that it's going to slow down again, right? But that's all based on Bitcoin. So that's what we do. That's what I do. So if you guys want to join us, there's a link. You can use smartertrading411.com. That's our service, smartertrading411.com/longbow. So there's an offer out for all the longbow people. smartertrading411.com/longbow.
And I think the interesting thing, Sam, is you were, pre-election, you had a big win with the trade. Maybe you want to walk through that before you tell people what you're seeing today. And what you do, and what Ben and I were talking about, there's been overlap of timing, right? Like you see something, we see something, and when you see that alignment, you tend to get some asymmetric opportunities there. So maybe, I know people don't like it when people take too many victory laps, but you had a pretty good one going in the election. You want to talk about that?
So on election day, we did an election day spaces. We had 9,000 people listen to that thing. 9,000 people just on so I have a pretty big following. Everybody comes, and we said, what stocks make you rich? And people want to be in a stock that makes them rich. I mean, this
Right.
whole world came in 19. Oh, go buy something, make 10%. So let's say you start your life with $10,000 and you're making 10%. How
Right.
long is it going to take for you to make wealthy? It doesn't work. So the people nowadays, and we have lots of kids at high school, we have people in colleges in our service. They're like, Sam, I want to be rich.
Yes.
I want to buy. What can make you rich? So I Tesla with Elon in the Trump's camp. If Trump
Right.
were to win, Tesla was going to run. And
Right.
so we had bought the 250s at $5, and we had bought the 270s for $1. Think about this: 270s for $1. Okay, so the day of, we sold the 250s 10 from 5 to 10. We had 50 contracts, so it made us $25,000, and we had bought 200 of the 270s at $1. So we
Right.
basically took our money out. So there was no risk left. I mean, we had made our money in the first one. We held the second one. And
Right.
that 200 contracts, it went to 270. I mean, it went to 290, and we sold
Right.
them at 20. So it's a $400,000 winner, but here it gets crazier because then we bought 9250s, we bought the
Yeah.
290 30750s, the 31250s, the 320s, kept rolling up, kept rolling up, kept rolling up. And every single one of those hit. Think about it. Every
Right.
single one of them. So we did good. We had $1 million
Yeah, you're
trade.
partying there. You're partying. I was partying along with you there, Sam. So what are you seeing
Now,
today? What are you covering
so,
today that you want to talk about?
yeah, so today the very interesting part of this is ASML came out and the CEO said good stuff, and
Right.
maybe 6 weeks ago he said bad stuff.
I
So all
know.
of all of a sudden ASML is moving. It's up 31. So now you have to say, okay, are chips truly better? So you have to look at NVIDIA, you have to look at Avago,
Right.
and you have to look at ESM. Because what he's saying is chips are actually better. And if
Yeah.
they are, and they'll all go in tandem with him, then you're going to have a run into the NVIDIA earnings next week, right? So now you buy, and we bought NVIDIA a couple days ago. We bought them at $1, the 167.50s at $1.
And
We're sitting at those because if it's true that chips are better, then all of them are going to run next week. We didn't buy this week's, we bought next week's, right? Because we're
yeah.
looking to get in. So that's really
But what do
interesting.
you
So
think about ASML? Because I'm seeing that that's bearish momentum short term, bearish momentum medium term. I'm showing it up as a sell after this pop. But is there a fundamental reason to be, and I know you're a technical guy, but the chart doesn't look like my friend unless it's going to be, switching at least to neutral. What do you do with ASML?
so ASML, if it takes out this 709, they're going to spike it.
Yeah.
But it's very 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 hard level. It may not get there. I don't know if the people, the ASML CEO, you can't come out 6 weeks ago and say shit, and then all of a sudden
Right.
it's great, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're changing. Uh, so don't really know. Our big play is Nvidia for next week based on this. But what it did take Nvidia up to 150. So those
Right.
dollar is what you make 50 cents on it. Do you hold it or not? The bigger
So you're
play
just
today.
taking their news. You're taking their news, playing it on video. Like, and my short term number for ASML was 707 spot oh 09. So I'm a little bit shy of your 709, but that chart doesn't look exciting to me. But what you're saying is take that information and just play it a different way.
Exactly. But here's the thing with your information. So your number is 709, which I mean 707. I have that too. 709 is the breakup number. So
Okay.
if it gets to 707, you give it a little bit of slack and say if
Yeah.
it gets to 7, it broke the 709, right? So
Right.
we're pretty much aligned with that.
Right.
By options, we look at where does it have to go to really get that next push, right?
Right.
You're not more of, hey, if it gets 707, sell it. It may not get down. It may drop $3 or $4
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
fast, which is
Right.
very accurate too. So we've been looking, Nadine. We've been looking at your stuff. Your stuff is very good. I mean, Nadine is just like, I'm instead of getting Tesla, I'm just going to get Goldman Sachs and take it from 1 to 12. So,
I'm just going to buy all financials.
so that's out there. The other thing, Bitcoin here, very, very interesting. If Bitcoin is a top, then this MicroStrategy, which came from 270, it was 270 on Monday. For the first time, and I know technicals too. So a close under 270 will be an outside week. Outside week on the down. So so it's interesting. So that's what I got. So if that happens, then MicroStrategy goes way down. You get out downside week 230. Jesus, it's 330. Yeah. But if Bitcoin takes out 100,000, all bets off. You go back to the upside. So that's what we're.
Okay. Well, thank you. So now I'm going to switch over to Ben. Ben, what do you have for us today? I know we were talking about a few things, currencies, commodities, and other this morning. What are you looking at?
Hey, Nadine, I'm going to have to drop off.
All right. Thank you, Sam. We're going to get you on again soon. Have a good day, and we'll talk soon. All right.
See you, Sam. Thanks a lot. Great meeting you. Keep smiling.
You're muted, Ben, so you need to come back on.
Oh yeah. Well, Sam, I didn't want to interrupt Sam's flow. For me, the only thing really worth talking about right now is the dollar. I mean, since Trump's ascendancy in the betting markets, you can just line that chart up with the euro, with the yen, with the yuan, and the DXY hit almost 107 this morning. The euro is at 105. I mean, these are serious, serious moves. And so I think what's going on is that domestically, everyone's going to dollar assets. So dollar assets then become artificially strong. And this happened in 1999, 2000 as well. When the last time we had a dot-com bubble, okay, we had everybody in the world brought their assets to the U.S., so you had a strong dollar, strong market. That was an insanely strong time. We have the same dynamic right now. If you look around at Europe, you look around at China, these are weak markets now with weak currencies. So it's a situation where it seems like everybody's on one side of the boat, and it sets up for something that could be explosive. And when I look at like 5 Delta S&P vol, we're at the levels of 2007. We are looking at credit spreads that are near the 2007, 1999 lows. And the dollar, if it keeps going, is going to blow things up. You see, we're here at this level. If that thing keeps going through 107, 107.50, like it's going to be all nothing's going to last. The dollar wrecking ball will end all risk assets. It's just that the dollar denominated ones right now are the cleanest shirt in a dirty world.
And what else? So we were also talking, what else you got today? Because we were talking about commodities too. Right.
Well, and that's a good example. Look, copper's getting smoked. Oil's down in 68, 67. We were on with Bob yesterday at 67. Gold, which has been one of my favorites for over a year. I mean, for a long time, but like I've been advocating it on the show for a year. And then, I think it was about a month or two ago, I had recommended putting a collar on GLD because I was like, it's new highs every day. Well, now here we are. We're at the 21-week moving average. Bakes, what do you think about? Is Bakes frozen on us? I think gold. We were talking about it in the morning show. Is this the time to buy it? There's a long way down if it gets through this area. But that would be something I'd be interested in buying on the dip here. But yeah, I think that commodities have fallen, and they're doing the same thing as the foreign currencies. And like our buddy Dave Dredge, it's all about the Hunger Games scenario. It's we live in District 1. and the other districts are paying their duties to District 1 right now. And so that's the dynamic in essence.
And so, Jen, I don't know if I tried to share my screen here. If you let me share my screen, I want to show people what we were showing on the morning show. I don't know if we're set up for that or not. But if so, I will wait for a second because I've got Longbow up with the GLD to put a few visuals and numbers to that.
And
But
while we wait, I can make a couple more comments. Let's talk about the Mag 7. Let's talk about the Mag 7 X Tesla, because I think Tesla is its own beast with Musk becoming the de facto president or whatever. The reality is the Mag 7 isn't trading that well since the July 10th carry peak. Microsoft, Apple, Google, they're all kind of they're losing momentum. There's a momentum decay going on there. All right, there we go.
All right, so I got the GLD up right. So one of the things we're talking about, so I'll try to bring this in a little bit, is you can see here the breakdown. You were talking about being careful of the collar before, but it's at a hold. But you can see that the range has been widening, right? And what I don't like is that this was, in terms of momentum, we were looking at bullish short term, and which is the blue line, and then medium term, which is the yellow line. Bullish for a long time, but you saw the breakdown. Now it's at a bearish short term and it's neutral medium term because you're breaking through these lines. So if I go back to the trading range, again, this is on Longbow Trading Signal, so mylongbow.com. You can see here where it's telling you, listen, we got to be careful, right? So you're hitting it there, and then you see it really going down from that point. And what I caution with, and this is where Ben and I were talking about the nuance of this, is even if you got a buy signal here, you have to be super careful, because until this momentum indicator hits to neutral, or obviously you'd want it bullish, you really can't use the buy signals in the same aligned way with that kind of conviction. So you'll see the strength go down when the signals aren't aligned much. You could still, if it hits a trade signal, you can click on the backtest stats and see during this kind of scenario what would have happened. But we would caution, and people looking at the GLD, we really need to see this. If you're looking here, it hold here at the intermediate term momentum. So that's 237.564. We need that holding for a while and maybe moving up for us to really get a little bit more conviction around a buy. So we'd be careful on this one.
Yeah, but in general, just to be clear, gold's a permanent hold. So that this is just short-term trading stuff. Gold's for owning. Just my.
It's also trading. I'll put that in there. But for him, it's owning. Different strategies, different people. So, all right, I'm going to get off of my screen here, and then we're going to move it over to Bakes. Bakes, what are you seeing today?
Well, I want to thank the cast of hair for joining us today. I feel like I'm not holding my own. Usually we've got 5 bald guys on here, so this is a refreshing change.
I got enough for both of you.
I think Sam gets the trophy today. That's unbelievable. And I love the fact that Ben Bry not only brings his Bloomberg Rorschach test, which I fail all the time, and a Johnny Cash reference, which is Sunday morning going down, which is awesome. The cleanest dirty shirt. That's fabulous. And I am going to take a victory lap because, it pays for the times I stumble. Go to @streetbeats.pro.com. And if you did this last Friday, you made a killing. I hate to be like that, but subscribe and follow. And we talked about this on the Friday show, Bitcoin, GBTC. And if you go to X and YouTube and elsewhere, there's a beautiful trailer that Jen put together. And it showed why Wall Street Beats is Wall Street Beats. We put our feet to the fire. We do what we say we're going to do. We put real money on the line, and we tell you what we're going to do in real time. And so I said that if we had a close above 73,157 on Bitcoin I think we're at 91.
For a second. Can you go back there, Bakes? You kind of went out. Tell people, what did you say? Because I think that they missed that.
Okay, I said on Friday that if Bitcoin itself, not GBTC, which we'll talk about, if Bitcoin closed above 73,157, then, and this was after the election, by the way. So if it closed above 73,157, we were going to 100. We're at 91 somewhat. I haven't looked today, but somewhere around there. And I thought Bitcoin, that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which I've owned since June of 2023, and it's all there on the clip. I'm not hiding. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, bought it in June of 2023. I topped it off to 10%. I said I was going to go to 75. We hit 74.36. I'm sorry about the 64 cents. I apologize for that. Mea culpa. But this is going, and you guys are looking for tops. No, let your winners run and shoot your losers. Make them old yellers. So the winners pay for the losers. So the thoroughbreds pay for the old yellers. You can use whatever, anti-PETA reference you want, but it is the stock. This is going north. This is going north.
I mean, I can make a comment on this a little bit. I think one of the things that is not maybe as well understood is that what drives MicroStrategy, what drives Bitcoin, is arbitrageurs. So you get some money in some event, right? So it's the election. But then what happens is the vol premium blows out, implied versus realized, or you have a situation where you can do the cash and carry futures arbitrage with Bitcoin. But right now the basis is 15%. So there's a lot of arbitrageurs who come in and buy Bitcoin and sell the futures, and they're not even taking any directional risk, but then they're buying it up. And then for MicroStrategy, what you do is you delta hedge it, and then you extract that massive vol premium. I mean, the implied vol on MicroStrategy is about 135. And so these things have a way of going longer than you see. But if you really want to know when the top's going to happen, keep an eye on the basis. Keep an eye on the premium of the vol, because that's what's actually driving this.
Right. And Ben, actually, sorry, Bakes, because this came through a client question yesterday, because he was saying, hey, listen, should I get puts on Bitcoin, or what do I do? And so, Ben, maybe talk a little bit about, what you looked into yesterday, and some of the commentary on that.
There's nothing to do there. I mean, if you wanted a decent 25 Bitcoin futures put at, let's call it $60,000, it's like $5,500. So you need Bitcoin to go down almost 50% to double your money in option. And I guess we can let Sam go off on his option thing, but the reality is that's not a good bet. If you don't like Bitcoin here, short MicroStrategy. That would be my recommendation. Just to be clear, I hate MicroStrategy, and that thing is trading at a 7 times NAV premium. It's the most absurd stock I've ever seen in my life, and it is just, I can't believe Saylor's getting away with this. But if you're going to want to be long Bitcoin with Big Kev, just own Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Just own Bitcoin. MicroStrategy may have gone up more, but it's not. It's sitting on air, in my opinion.
All right. Let's see if we can get Bakes back. I don't know if we got him back here, if he's got anything else for us today. But listen, we're at 7:32. I think that we've got people here for the morning, and they probably have other stuff to do. Listen, thank you so much to Sam's subscribers for coming and joining us today, and other folks. Catch us for Sam's show. Again, that's about 5:20 West Coast time, 8:20 East Coast time, Smarter Trading 411. And then you can meet Ben and I at 6 a.m. West Coast, 9 a.m. East Coast. That's Longbow. So mylongbow.com, the trading signals, pre-market, cross asset class. Okay, Bake, you're back. Anything else? So you did the victory lap. You came through it. Anything else today that we should note?
Again, as I've said in my prior communications, I love the transparency of Wall Street Beats. I mean, we are what we say we do, and so when I have doubles and triples in Bitcoin, it pays for the time when I'm wrong on copper. I sold a third of copper. This is the Sprott Junior Copper Miners, COPJ. I sold a third of it today without even thinking about it. It closed below the 200-day here, and I have a sell discipline. I stick to it. I don't lose a lot of money. I won't say never, but it's very, very rare, unless I get something that really surprises me. So copper's rolling over. And then lastly, and I'm not involved here, full disclosure, which is another thing I like about Wall Street Beats. We tell people what we do. India's rolling over. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know the rationale. I don't know if it's Trump related or elsewhere, but India is really looking bad. And this is another close below the 200 day on big volume. And something's wrong in Mumbai and elsewhere. And India is problematic. So if you have involvement there, I would suggest, at least looking at it, hedging it, selling some.
Yeah, so
that's
to let
interesting.
there was some fundamentally. So I had mentioned that a while ago that liquidity is probably pulling from there. It was overvalued. Liquidity pulls from there. If China can get its act together, that liquidity is going to go there. And I'm sure Ben has some points too. But it was a really overvalued area before.
Yeah, well, so on our first podcast that we did, Nadine and I have a podcast called Just Think About It, and our very first one we had Rupert Mitchell on, who I'm sure some of you guys followed, the Blind Squirrel Macro, and he had pitched short India in kind of the height of the India when the stock chart, as you can see, was much higher, and honestly, this is just another victim of the dollar, of what I just talked about. All the Pan-Asian hedge funds are all crowded in there. They're maybe in Japan and India. And this started to lose a little muster when we had the China short squeeze in late September, early October. But man, this has been a hot market. So Bakes is right. Like, that chart looks terrible.
Right.
And this is the other thing I love about Wall Street Beats is that we come at it from, at least three different angles. And what I think is going to happen is, okay, that bad. I really believe the long-term story. My analyst says that it's going to recover. And then you're going to have a feeble rally on low volume. And that's when you really pay attention and you short the heck out of it after it fails, which I think is very, very likely.
Okay. Well, thank you. So the last part of that, so remember, you got Sam's show, you've got our show, you've got for Longbow, and then you have Wall Street Beats. And Wall Street Beats is at 7 a.m. West Coast time, 10 a.m. East Coast time. So you've got kind of three shows in the row where you've got options, you've got cross asset class actionable, and then Wall Street Beats, which today was more technical, which we set it up. But then also we have a lot of strength in retail and energy and healthcare and other areas. And so we bring individual names to you and ideas, as well as the charts, always charts. So thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we're here November 14th. I'm Nadine Turman. You had Ben Bry, Kevin Bakes Baker, and Sam from 411 on today, and we'll catch you back tomorrow. Thank you.
Keep smiling. Thanks.